Hey YouTube, it's Fred here from HilliansBricks, and in today's video I'm going to talk about how I would invest if I only had £100. So this is the first video in terms of a series. I'm going to do some more videos in terms of different budgets on how I would do, because the strategy I would plan out is very different than depending on what budget you have. So this is just my personal opinion. So by all means you can try it out, but don't come and blame me if it goes wrong, right? So this is just some suggestions. So I'm not a financial advisor or anything, but yeah, this is kind of the strategies I would probably do if I had a very limited budget. So yeah, £100, that's not going to stretch you very far when it comes to Lego investing. One thing I can't recommend straight away is you don't want to invest into sets that you have to wait for retire and then to sell, because it just takes too long to have that money sat there. It's not a lot of money, but you buy a set or two and then it's kind of sat there and you can't do anything. So the temptation will be to do something else. So the strategy I would follow if you only had £100 is to try and do quick flips. So this is not something I've got a lot of experience with, but this is probably the best strategy, because you want to build up your cash position, so you can then start to do the longer term investing and having cash tied into sets and waiting for retirement. So there's a few strategies I could recommend here. So the first one is what scalpers do, and it's not going to make you very popular, I must say that, but it's one of the strategies that works. So what they tend to do is, like, when a new set comes out and they believe it's going to be very popular, so they've done their research, they think some of these sets are going to be great, and they go and buy what's available, and hopefully there's a limited supply, and these sets will sell out very quickly, and then they resell them on platforms like Amazon, at a premium when people want to get them quite quickly. So you really need to know what you're doing. You need to know what sort of themes you're going to be going for. You don't want to be doing this with like Lego City themes or Friends, for example, but you want to do it with like exclusive sets, maybe Star Wars, Harry Potter, some sets that you think are going to be in high demand, but then still it's still a risk, right? So you never know how much supply there will be, and if it's easily going to be accessible or not. So yeah, that's one potential strategy. And the one thing that I would say from a set that I would recommend potentially is around September time. The Christmas advent calendars are coming out. So those I've seen from last year, where there's always people on Facebook and groups who are looking at, like, oh, I missed out this advent calendar. Does anyone have any? And as long as you're reasonable and you sell for like only £10 above it, you can quickly make some quick return on investment. And because typically I think they're about £25, and sometimes in Tesco you get them for about £22, £23. And you don't want to be buying every single advent calendar. So the ones I recommend is definitely Star Wars one. Last year I saw so many people looking for Star Wars ones when they were sold out in many places. Harry Potter ones, and I think this year there's a Marvel one coming out as well. So I think those three will be popular. So if you're looking at this video around September time and you have those things in stock, it's probably worth buying them, because I guarantee it, come end November, there's going to be people on Facebook groups, even early December, looking like, oh, where can I find an advent calendar? There's no stock anywhere, and that's when you'll be able to shift them. So it's also worth knowing that when you shift them, you want to try and do places like Facebook Marketplace, and depending where you're located as well has a big factor, because you don't want to be paying shipping costs, right? You want to, someone picking up locally all helps you, because you don't have to get packaging or postage costs. Sometimes the people will pay for that, but it's all extra worry and extra cost. So if you live in a dense area with lots of people around you, be easy for someone to come pick it up. That's all a benefit as well. So that's one strategy you do. Now, the other one you can do clearly is try and find cheap deals and then sell them at the normal RRP or just below the RRP, so you can just shift them quite quickly. So you need to make sure that you buy competitively, and again, you want to sell this locally to avoid a lot of shipping costs. For example, here in the UK, we've got a retailer called Argos, and they have these offers on, like for these ones, for example, 2 for 15. So when the RRP is, I think it's £13 for one of these. Now, don't recommend you go and buy this one now, because this, again, is saturated in the market. So many people have done this, and so many people are setting this for long-term investing purposes. But from a short-term perspective, let's say you buy this at £7.50 each, and then you decide, oh, I'm going to flip it for £11 or £12. If you do this a couple of times over, again, it depends how much demand there is. So you need to have a look as well on sites like eBay for example, you can do a filter on the sold prices, so you can see what prices things sell at. So do some research as well. And Argos tend to update these 2 for 15 offers, and they also got 2 for 30 offers about every, I'd say, 4, 5, 6 months. So I've not seen them update that often recently. So but yeah, and be sure as well, you know what sort of themes you're getting into. There's again no point buying you know, I'd say Lego City sets and things like that, because they tend to be available everywhere as well. Or Speed Champions will tend to do quite well. And Star Wars, so some battle packs and things like that. Those are the sort of things that you can shift easily at, you know, a good price. And if you can sell it, you know, slightly below that RRP and still make a margin, if you don't have to pay any shipping, then, you know, that's the kind of thing how you quickly can turn things around. And then you might want to do a mix, right? Because if it's 2 for 15, you can try and buy a few different sets and see what sells well, and then potentially repeat it again. So that's one idea. Now, the final thing that you can have is, I'm just having a look at my notes, so is that when you see a set that you've been eyeing up for, and you're just waiting to buy it, and you know it's available in the Lego store, and suddenly you see that Lego's going to come out with this great promotion, sometimes it's worth just paying the full RRP just to get the promotion. Now, the best example I can give you is like the Harry Potter Book with Monsters, right? So the Book of Monsters was one of the best valued gift for purchase that was available. So if you buy some Lego sets that you know Harry Potter related, that you'll be able to sell on again, even maybe at a small loss, but the gift for purchase, when you sell that on, for example, the Book of Monsters is selling for 50, 60 pounds. You can, you know, you can sell that on, you know, and then sell the other things maybe even at a £5 loss. It's going to quickly make a nice return on investment. And then again, you can repeat that as well. So yeah, those are the sort of things that I would do if only had a limited budget to start with. And, you know, you want to build that budget and then kind of try and reinvest it. Sometimes, you know, you might find that you end up stuck with some sets. That's why I would recommend going with smaller sets, so you can have a bit of a variety. But yeah, do your research in your themes, definitely, for sure. In the worst case scenario is that you're stuck with a set, maybe eventually you'll retire and they'll go up in value anyway. So but you want to play the time factor. You know, the longer you sit on it, you know, the worse it is, I would say, in terms of your cash, because you want to build that cash position as much as possible so you can buy more and bigger sets and kind of change your strategy. So in some of the next episodes that I'm going to bring out, when we have a larger budget, you know, you'll see the strategy is going to be slightly different, but it's going to be, it all depends on what your budget is, because you need to have a mix of long-term and short-term. The higher your budget is, you know, the more you can kind of like tie up for the future as well. Then see how it goes. But yeah, hope you found this useful. As I said, this is just my opinion on what I would do. But yeah, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.